Hey everybody, I'm Mark Ramsey. I am so thrilled today to be talking to Anthony Brady from vSplash and Neil Polachek, who is advising vSplash and is best known to people on this call as one of the former head of BIA Kelsey. Hello, guys.
Good morning.
You guys have a product at vSplash called BuzzBoard, and I am just ecstatic over this product. I find it utterly fascinating. But I think before we get into what this product is and what it does, we should talk about why this matters. My audience, as you know, includes radio program directors, radio general managers, radio sellers. To that audience in their local markets, what problem are you trying to solve?
So vSplash has been in the market for just over 13 years, and what we do is we support folks that sell to small businesses, just like your audience. And what we've seen in that marketplace is so many products come out that sales folks don't have the direct way to be able to position those products to best position them with the customers to get the most value. And so what we've brought here is a tool which helps make smart digital sales folks all the way from opportunity identification of the existing customer base all the way through till proposal and fulfillment.
So if I'm a radio seller, I'm obviously selling radio. I also have digital products too, quite likely, or maybe they're dedicated digital sellers in my organization, whichever. But this is a tool to make them more effective and increase their ability to drive revenue, right?
Correct. So simply, we have about 10 million listings in our platform with 2.5 million URLs. We can help your audience focus on exactly who to sell to from a digital perspective. At the same time, we can take their existing customer base, analyze their existing customer base based upon their digital health and their digital presence, and then focus the sales teams based on the products that your folks sell.
Okay, let's back up. Digital health and digital presence. That's really at the core of what you're trying to do here, right? You're trying to assess the digital health of current and potential clients, for example, for a radio station, right?
Right. So think about it as really accelerating the knowledge of the radio sales rep in understanding their marketplace. Broadly from, if we looked at, a segment of the customers in the marketplace, and very specifically, an individual business. And what we've done is, apply technology to make it very fast and very efficient for a sales rep to know that, let's say, Joe's Tire Warehouse, what their digital presence is like, where they're going to be found, where they're not going to be found, what they need to do to be found more thoroughly, and then making sure that, their digital experience that they offer to the consumer is as rich and as up to date and as sort of best practice as possible.
So what you've created is a dashboard that we're looking at that's designed, for example, to be brought on site to be shown to the potential merchant, right? And that, for example, this is set up to be on an iPad right now. So you're actually looking at what it would look like when you, the seller, show this to a merchant in a local market, right?
Correct. And it's really about engaging to shift the conversation to a conversation about products and features and benefits to something that's more about, let's engage with this customer. Let's have a dialogue. Let me show you what we know about your business from a digital perspective and have a discussion about what you want to try and do, and then start to talk about products and features and benefits and solutions, so that you have a very quick way of starting to engage with the customer. That's what we're finding across the board in the local marketplace, that the sellers out there, the sales reps, are really having a hard time even getting the merchant or the business owner to engage, because they're being inundated with so many offers and so many solutions and so many products and so many opportunities.
Okay.
Mark, on average, the small business gets 35 to 45 calls a month selling digital products. And the market is so fragmented, the small business doesn't know where to go. So absent of that, they don't do anything. They don't update these. They don't update the websites. They don't have a mobile site. They don't have a clear campaign relative to drive results. So our plan is to make smarter digital sales reps that drive results to the customers, enabling your customer base to be the trusted advisor for the small business.
And obviously, from the radio perspective, they're able to do that in the context also potentially of a radio buy, so they cover both the mass media and the digital media elements, right?
Correct. And any salesperson or any sales organization would want their sales folks to profile the customers the way that we're going to show you in our BuzzBoard tool before they went on a sales call. And what we found is that with time and motion studies, the best organizations have their sales reps do this work. It takes 90 minutes to 2 hours. We've cut it down to under 2 minutes. And then with that, we've built a tool to engage the advertiser or the merchants to be able to really understand what their competition looks like, and at the same time position the products that the sales team is selling with value and be able to position to drive results.
Okay, well, show us some stuff then.
So with that all said, so imagine you're looking at a live iPad app today. So on the left-hand side, imagine those are your customers and/or your prospects. They can come in from Salesforce or your existing CRM, or if your sales rep is out on the street, he can just create a business listing on the fly. They've been given 2 numbers. That one number on the left-hand side, that's a criticality score. The higher the criticality, the faster you want the sales rep to call that customer because their digital presence is poor. And the number on the right-hand side, this is a dollar amount based upon the products that are customized for your advertisers and the products that you sell. So each one is a unique dollar amount based upon their digital health and the products that the radio station sells. So it's a recommendation based upon their digital health. And then, this first tab is just basic customer information that integrates with the existing CRM. So what we do is, based upon the audit, we do an audit based upon the URL, the address, and the phone number of the business, and we take three primary areas. One, just overall presence. So are they online? If they're online, what do they look like in Google, Yahoo, and Bing across the major search engines? Do they have a mobile website? An interesting fact, of the 2.4 million URLs that we've indexed into our platform, roughly 98% of them are not mobile enabled. So it's a significant opportunity in the marketplace to go after the mobile website business. After we analyze the mobile part of the space, what do they look like from a social perspective, and then from a local business perspective? And so what we do is we customize that last piece based upon the directories or the local newspapers in that space. So the sales rep really has a solid understanding of what does the local business look like. So in addition to presence, we now take a view of what the performance looks like. There's a lot of folks out there selling what they call social, local, and mobile profiles. But at the end of the day, we're finding that the traditional hygiene of the sites for the small businesses isn't very strong. So for instance, again, of the 2 million URLs that we've indexed, 1 out of 4 of them, Mark, don't have any local contact information on the homepage.
Wow.
So no way to contact them, no local phone number, no address. So if you're out on the street and you do a Google search for your local tire shop on your iPhone, there's a good chance that it's not going to come up, given the web presence that they have today, and given the fact that your users are in the radio space. I'd imagine there's quite a bit of mobile activity that happens there. In addition to that, everybody talks about SEO, and SEO becomes a strong dissatisfier in the marketplace today because everybody's trying to promise to get on page number 1 of the search engines. Our tool doesn't do that. Our tool very simply says, here's what your SEO looks like, here's where it should be cleaned up, and what that does is that enables your customers to position an SEO-related product that really drives results and isn't the promise and hope of a couple of poor keywords that they can get on the front page. Mm-hmm. And then everybody sells SEM in the marketplace. It's kind of table stakes. And so if they're positioning SEM, what does it look like? And that comes into a nice bundle, a deliverable audit that you can deliver directly to the customers on the fly. And you'll notice that this is an audit that we just did live. So that's the timing of the creation of the audit. while we're there. Now, what it also does is, Mark, it says based upon your geography. So we start off at 5. We start off at 5 and 10 miles as a radius. But based upon your vertical and your geography, we start to pull the competitors. And so now we can see who the competitor is of that customer and then or that prospect, and you can start to have an engaging conversation with the advertiser on what his nearby competitors are doing. Now, if he says, "Well, this one here is the chain; it's not a competitor," well, you could just delete that right off. But at the same time, you can add another one. So again, the goal here is to make smarter digital sales reps to be able to have that conversation and dialogue with the merchant.
Well, and let me jump in here for a second, Mark. Imagine what it would take a sales rep to cobble all this stuff together to prepare for a meeting without a tool. Mm-hmm. It's either they're taking an hour, maybe an hour and a half to prepare for one customer, or it's maybe a sales assistant who's doing that. But somebody, it has to be done to be knowledgeable and to be credible in the eyes of the customer. And so this tool really ramps up that credibility, because instead of the rep spending their time, trying to cobble together this insight, it's right there for them.
Right.
I think that's really an important piece of this puzzle.
And by the way, there's a third option, Neil, which is the effort's not done at all.
Well, okay, exactly. And if that's the case, then the rep's going in almost naked, you might say. And what kind of credibility are they going to have when they go in and they don't know anything about that merchant's web presence and anything about how even where they're being found and whatnot? Then it becomes the merchant or the customer explaining to the rep all this stuff, and it really should be the other way around.
Okay.
So, Mark, there are hundreds of tools out there that if you wanted to grade a site or see what they're doing from an SEM perspective or see if they have a Facebook page, you could cobble those tools together and systematically go and find the same data that we just automated for you. And there's many organizations that do it today, and that's that 90 minutes to 2 hours process. Mm-hmm. But what none of those tools enable you to be able to do, in addition to showing the competition, is put together a proposal with some science to it. So our last tab here, what it shows you is, based on your audit, based on your competition, and based upon the products that the radio station sells, here's a recommended proposal, auto-generated proposal for the sales rep to lead with. And you'll know all of this is trackable, so you can actually see what your sales reps lead with, and see what the successful ones are doing versus the other ones.
And all these prices, Anthony, these costs, these come from the broadcaster, right?
Correct. This is all customized based upon the broadcaster. The broadcaster can go in, update the prices himself, update the product codes, everything as it sits.
Okay.
We've built the infrastructure to be able to have that engaging conversation. So much so that you'll notice there's no proposals made here, but this customer, he doesn't want to spend the initial one time. He wants to spend it monthly, for instance. So it auto regenerates the proposal based upon a set of tools, and then based upon the rules that have been put in and the priorities, and it saves the proposal, and right there on the fly, you generate the proposal that would have your own terms and conditions on the back end that meet the customer's requirements. All this is customizable. Everything that BSplash does is white label in support of our customers.
Okay, now let me go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, we built in some extra tools along with the iPad piece. So imagine, you're a sales rep and you're out in the field and you want to be able to map where your customers are. And supposedly you're in a small geography of Cincinnati. You'd be able to see your customers based upon, or your prospects based upon the geo and the location that you're at. So, and this is just a simple view, but the goal is to make the sales reps obviously more efficient. We're seeing a 60% increase in sales efficiency through the tool.
And among whom?
So we have roughly 1,000 sales folks either using parts of the data or the tool itself today.
When you say parts of the data, that means apart from the tool?
So So the tool has the data inside of the platform, right? So you could come to us, and a very practical application today is, Anthony, we are, we use a current CRM today. Our sales folks don't have iPads out in the field, but we really want to understand what our customer base looks like. So the first thing that they would do is say, here's a geography, or here's 10,000 customers. Tell us what they look like from a digital perspective, right?
Okay.
And then so we would say, okay, 50% of them have, this is an example, 50% of them have websites. They're in this vertical. Of those websites, here's the typical view of them.
Okay,
right?
let me ask you just in the interest of the attention of the audience. Let me ask you some of the hard questions. A lot of the items on here, this audit, the competition, the proposal, the items being proposed may or more likely may not be currently in the category of services offered by local broadcasters for local clients. What do you say to folks who say, you know what, I don't really optimize pages, I don't really provide these things. How do I get this done for my clients if I don't do it internally?
We would work with them on a very specific bundle of products that they could offer that would align to this, is one option. So vSplash makes over 10,000 websites on a monthly basis in our facility in New Jersey. And we perform all of these products and services.
So you're saying that it could either be either the broadcaster does it locally, or they subcontract to you or a third party.
Correct.
Sure.
Okay.
And if they're not, they should be doing these things, because if they're trying to build a digital business, they're going to have to be doing more of these things than they're doing today.
Now, do you want to elaborate on that for a second, Neil? Because I think that's a critical point. Because a lot of people look at this and say, as you know, they look at this and say, well, this is fine for direct business, but, 60, 70, 80% of my business is agency, and those guys just want a ranker.
I think that to be successful in the local marketplace, anybody who's going to bring a set of solutions or an offering is going to have to bring a bundled set of products. It's going to have to be, at the low end domain and all that stuff, moving up through a website, a mobile website, moving up to SEM and SEO. So there's sort of a staircase of products that anybody who's going to face off with any local merchants, be it, the one store tire dealer or the 25 store tire dealer, they're going to have these solutions, because the consumer market is moving so quickly to, these mobile devices and these smart devices that these merchants are going to have to be found. And if they're not going to be found, I have a whole presentation about this digital divide that's happening out there. That used to refer to the market where there were going to be people who had internet access and who didn't on the consumer side. Well, that's gone. The new digital divide is merchants and businesses that have a buttoned-up digital presence and those who don't. And those who don't are going to fall behind in the marketplace.
Mark, I would just add one point to that. The multi-location single brand, so your regional and national franchises or multi-location businesses, they look just as bad, if not worse, than these typical small businesses, because they're all grounded into one traditional site that keeps all the addresses, and they are missing the entire social local mobile engagement.
That's awesome. Now, it should be evident to anybody watching this why I like this product so much. So, guys, for anybody who wants further information, what should they do?
So my email address is anthony@vsplash.com, or they can go to vsplash.com and contact our office, and love to set up a presentation and go over a demo with the team, with the folks that are appropriate.
Anthony Brady and Neil Polachek, both from vSplash, the product's BuzzBoard. I think it's terrific. Everybody should take a look at it. Thank you guys so much for your time today.
Have a great Friday, Mark. Thanks.